good, everybody? Happy Sunday. Welcome to the Mrs. Best Reviews channel. We have James. He is here. He made it. Our co-host, our busy co-host planning nuptials. So he gets
Planning
paid.
nuptials, planning my move, looking at furniture, all exciting things, but it's very time consuming. Not to mention, I have worked 12-hour days every single day of this week.
Insanity.
Insanity,
Insanity.
insanity, insanity. Just trying to make sure we got extra little money, because when you
Mhm.
move, it is stressful. You ain't got nothing. You just,
Yeah, that's smart too. Get everything out the way ahead of time. Worst thing people do when they get married is have their finances all fucked up because they're trying to figure out the wedding part. So just get everything together ahead of time so y'all will
yep,
be okay.
yes,
Um, but y'all, we gonna get into the never ever mets. I am congested nasally. My allergies have attacked me, y'all. I get allergy shots. They haven't worked well yet. There's pollen everywhere. The pollen is trying to fight me. I'm trying to tell you, and I'm losing. I'm getting my ass whooped, but it's okay. So I may sound a little nasally, but let's get into the episode. The episode starts with something that I predicted the moment we met Alicia and Irvin. He tells her how he feels. And essentially, he's just like, you're difficult, you're manipulative, you weaponize your illnesses, and he dumps her. He said he don't want to deal with her, which I was like, okay, I'm here for it, Irvin. You doing the right thing. But then he lost me because he then decided to tell Alicia that his ex called him before he came on the show into the house. And he felt like when the ex called him, that it was God talking to him because it was somebody that I guess he cared about and enjoyed being with, which made me like, then why did y'all break up? But, you know, Alicia didn't want to hear that. She felt like he was just telling her that to make her upset, which if he was, honestly, that bitch deserved it. I'd be poking her with a doll, praying to every form of dark magic that exists. I did not like her at all. But I'm glad they broke up. He ends up breaking down in tears for what he says is about his ex. But I get the feeling he's using that as a shield just so he doesn't look like a certain way. I feel like he might have broke down because he was actually sad it didn't work out. Because the way that they spoke about each other prior to meeting in person, it seemed like there was some type of connection there. But it's very easy to hide the entirety of who you are when you're talking to people, and get to know them virtually. That's just my opinion. But she tells everybody else when she goes inside that they're not together and that she wants to choose herself. I said, girl, you just got dumped, but okay. She took zero accountability for any of it, just called them toxic, and both of these people left. I didn't like how either of them moved, but I felt like with Irvin, he did go through a lot of trauma. He might need to take some time before dating somebody else after her. With Alicia, now I understand why she's single. Because I was like, she's successful, she's beautiful. What is the problem? She's, in my opinion, a narcissistic sociopath that is utilizing her illnesses to drive her own feelings and narcissism, and it's not going to resolve itself unless I mean, I'm a psych major, so I don't believe it'll ever resolve itself, but I never want to say never for people, so maybe she'll figure it out. But James, how'd you feel about that first scene?
I'm gonna say this. I did have a problem with how he moved and what he did, but at the same time, I kind of felt like because she has done so much that I kind of was like, oh well, like it is what it is. He contacted the next, but then also I kind of feel like for me, I'm glad that he made this move versus trying to still be on the show and faking the funk. Like I could appreciate that factor because a lot of them would not do that. A lot of them will stay on this TV show because they understand it comes with some recognition across, a mainstream or, a social network that they probably would not get into nonetheless if they weren't on the show. So I appreciate them taking it, especially Irvin taking it always serious. Like, no, I can't do this. I'm sorry. She is not who I thought she was. I spent all this time getting to know her, and I don't know who it is that I know because who I met was a completely different person. And sometimes that is the risk that you take when you date online.
Yep. That's a huge risk to take dating online because it's opening you up to probably 150% more people and potential people to date than you would see if the online dating thing didn't exist. Then you're just dependent on who you meet, where you go, you know? So it's a great tool for people, but then it can also be something to interrupt the normal process of dating. But I'm glad they gone. I was getting tired of her. She was pissing me off. I said, "Ooh, YouTube gonna cancel me," because I was trying to find nice words for Alicia, and it was just hard. But we'll see. We'll see. Now the group ends up, the remaining people left in the group, they go to do improv exercises at a little studio place. And nothing much happened in this situation that I felt was relevant to discuss in the recap. All I'm gonna say is Alexis struggled. It's very clear that when she doesn't have control, that if there's a problem and it impacts every part of her life. But has anyone else noticed that Alexis's wig is like thinning?
No, I didn't notice that at all.
It's like thinning. I feel like she's like combing the shit out of it and over flat ironing it or something, and it's like thinning. But that's just me. But do you have anything from that little improv thing that you noticed that you might want to talk about, James?
No, I kind of felt like that was the wrong exercise for them.
Yeah.
That was the first thing. I didn't really understand it at first, and then when they started doing it, I did get what it was. But I feel like that was an exercise for couples who maybe are going through issues, not couples who have just met each other.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
That's a good point. I would
because
agree
to
with
me, when I was looking at the overall expectation, a lot of them looked confused.
that. Hmm.
Um, especially is his name Jared? What is the one with the secret baby couples?
Jared and Clavasia.
Yeah, him, them. But yes, them two men were confused. I could tell they didn't know what they were doing. Um, damn, I'm spacing out everybody's names here. Damn, and usually
It's
I don't do
okay.
that.
I mean,
Um,
that just shows how memorable this cast is, honestly.
yeah, because it's like I don't. Yeah, and
None of these people are likable.
they're
The
not. So
only
that's
one
why I
who's
have a
kind
hard
of
time.
likable
I
is
have the list. Let me look at
Tatiana.
my notes because I'm trying not to look at my notes. But I'm just gonna go ahead and look at them.
Mhm.
But you can continue. Yeah, I felt like they all were confused on what the actual exercise was supposed to do, what it actually was, and then I don't know. And then also, what I would have liked them to do if they were going to do this is give them a scenario.
Hmm.
If they gave them a scenario, maybe they would have executed like, what would happen if you were in this situation? Or what would happen if you were, you know, given this situation and you had to come home with it? Like, give them something that is real life. Because for me, it was more so Clavassier, Jared, and also surprisingly, I didn't think that the couple I do like, I don't think they did good either. Um,
Improv is just a weird exercise, I think, to do for anybody that's like not really into stuff like that. It
mhm.
can be used for communication, but it's usually used for people who are more interested in the arts. But we go move forward because they gave nothing in that. Welcome in, Shani. Happy
Happy
Sunday.
Sunday.
Good morning or afternoon for you almost. Uh, but they going back home and in the car, Brandon is trying really hard with Kiki to be closer to her in terms of like physical affection. It seems like their little talk with the therapist did help in terms of how he is treating her, but she's still telling lies and acting weird. But, Kiki plays to him. She goes, I'm not from an affectionate family, which I can understand. But then she explains to the camera in a private confessional, like she still feels bad about keeping the secret from him about the fact that she was dating her ex for the entirety of her relationship with Brandon ex until 4 months earlier. So I don't know. I hope he sees through the BS, but I don't think he is. How did you feel about that? Do you think that he'll see through? Like, I just want her to tell the truth. She's too much.
I want her to tell the truth, but then also I want her to go into further detail about not necessarily the timeline, but as to reason as to why. Because she's been with him, they've been doing this online virtual thing for 4 years. And y'all know I
Mhm.
question any relationship that has been virtual for any amount of long period of time that's more than 6 months. Because I feel like if we live in two different states and I haven't met you in the first 6 months of us virtually dating, then we don't need to date anymore.
That's true.
Because of the fact that if neither one of us had made any initial effort to go to the city that the other person is in, I dated virtually. And my past relationship, we were together 4 months before we met physically. So, and had we not, met at the 6 month period, we wouldn't have been together. But no, we made sure we made an effort to see each other. No, it wasn't 4 months; it was two. It was 4 months when I moved out there. Okay, I had to get that together because I was like, wait a minute, that didn't sound right when I said it. So no, I feel like these virtual dating, like this, Kiki and Brandon, and also Charlie and Jared. I don't believe in these situations. I just don't. Everybody else, they seem to have been dating for a short period of time. But yeah, she needs to go into more
Hmm.
details because it seems like whoever you was with probably cheated on you and you wanted to get back at him. So you found Brandon and started doing the same thing.
Huh. That's what I think. I mean, she won't say that, but that's what I was thinking. It definitely seems like a revenge cheat situation.
Hmm.
But my thing is, I'm tired of her funky ass attitude towards this man. It's one thing to lie to him and keep secrets, but then you got a funky attitude toward him, and then you blame it on other things that you know is not really
Yes.
that's not really what it is. This cast is full of liars. It's full of liars, and it's like she came on here making us think like, oh, she's insecure because of her weight. I don't think she's insecure because of her weight. I think she knows she's a cute girl. Yes, she's big, but she knows how to dress. She's got a cute face. I think she's insecure about him finding out the truth about what she really got going on. But
Of course.
yeah, I'm just sick of Kiki. She's terrible. She's kind of like Alicia. She's just drunk.
Yeah.
Um, but the couples get to the house, y'all. They have, I couldn't tell if it was dinner or breakfast. I didn't get a good look at the plates, but they play a game. And everybody's nervous because every time these people play a game at the dinner, some stuff go down later. And they ask questions in the game. So I'm gonna just go over each of the questions and who got what. The couple that everyone voted the most likely to stay together was Cinco and Jay. Agreed. Do you agree
Agreed.
with that? Yeah.
Absolutely.
They ain't really had too many problems yet. I mean, we was looking at her a little crazy, like, damn, you just met him, you hopping in the shower to fuck already. Y'all don't got a condom or nothing. But I mean, sometimes that works. I mean, TMI is quiet as kept. When I got with my husband first night, we got busy. We still together. So I don't know. It was supposed to be like a little quick one night stand, and I just never went home. And look how that went. So for some people it works, for some it doesn't. But I can agree with that. They then ask which couple needs to use the intimate suite the most. Which couple needs to be intimate is what I got from how they were alluding the question. And everyone voted Chris and Alexis. But before we move on further, Chris said in the confessional some things that were concerning to me and concerned some things that James said that he sensed in terms of our gaydar going on. Because why are you avoiding it? I'm so confused because you don't seem to have this problem with other people, but you got this problem with Alexis. Something about him feeling like he don't want to rush to them going in there was just off to me.
Hmm.
Did you feel the same, James?
Absolutely, I did. And it wasn't so much because, here's the thing, you guys. I'm not saying that, you know, in terms of him not wanting to rush it is what is given by Gator. It's just the excuses behind it. Because to say you don't want to rush something, it's not that you're rushing. Y'all have been talking and y'all have not seen each other physically. There's going to be desires. There's going to be, realm. Like you want to do something. If you're not going to go for the full home base, you're going to want to do something that leads you there, right? Because when I met my fiance the first night, I wanted it. We didn't go all the way, but it was kind of like I had this huge desire to want to get that done. So I just think that, yeah, he's making an excuses. Either you're here for TV or you're not really into her.
Yep, yep. One of the two. One of
Yeah.
the two.
And it's
It
and
it was
I already
annoying
think there's
though.
mama issues and there's control issues in there anyway. So I feel like that doesn't help them.
But no shade. I wouldn't want to be in an intimate suite with her either. She just seemed like a lot. I told you to hit it from the side. Like she scares me. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they did ask which couple is the least compatible, which everybody voted Brandon and Kiki. Um,
I didn't agree with that.
I actually didn't agree with that. I
No.
feel like without the lies, if they had met on like good terms and honest terms, I feel like Brandon and Kiki would do well together. Or I feel like they could do well as friends versus the couple thing more. So I don't think that they lack compatibility because you can be compatible with your friends and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the least compatible couple, in my opinion, I have two. I'm torn between Alexis and Chris
Mm-hmm.
and Clay and Tati.
Mm.
And the reasons why, Alexis and Chris, you could tell that both of them have trauma and their
Mm-hmm.
whole choice to date each other, everything they do, how they move is based on that. I don't think they actually like each other. I think they both resemble what both of them experienced in terms of people who caused them trauma. Because we
Yes.
run towards the things that cause us the most pain or that remind us of things that cause us trauma. It's called unconscious bias. Like it's
Yes.
something that we all do. So that's with that for them. However, with Clay and Tati, they're not compatible just because she is authentic. You could tell she knows who she is and is not afraid to say it. She's not concerned about what people think. And I think she's attracted to people who are that way. He is the exact opposite. He's very concerned with what people think. He
Mm-hmm.
lies. He lacks integrity. I don't think he's going to tell her the truth about the daughter until he gets to hit it. I really don't think that. So I feel like they're the least compatible. Jared and Charlie, I know people be like, why not them? Look how they both lied about the baby. They both ain't shit and maybe meant to be.
I actually said that they were the least compatible, Charlie and Jared. I think they're the least compatible because, to me, if you put this, it's just sexual tension between them. You could tell they
That's
just
true.
want to hit it, and you could tell, but they don't have anything intellectually in common. So I said them, and then I also feel like Brittany and Ty as well.
Oh, I forgot all about them. That's
Yeah,
a
I
damn
said
shame.
yeah, Brittany and Ty as well, and it's because of her. I don't know if she confuses me. It's more so Brittany than it is Ty. She confuses me.
Mm,
And I feel like when people confuse you like that, you're not really getting the full gist of them being compatible. You're just seeing she wants a placeholder because she
mm.
did things out of order.
Yeah, I don't know. You're probably right about that. I entirely forgot about them on this show for a smooth second, but it seems like she's the type of woman that would open up and be just let loose a little more because you can tell she's uptight and has a wall. But I feel like the wall could come down and she could be super down to earth and enjoyable if she's with the right person.
No, I don't even think it's that. I just think there's just too much guilt and shame with how she moved in her life.
Mm,
I really do. Because to me, when she first got introduced to us, it was like he has to accept my son, and it's all about my son, and then and then not mentioning any past. Like we don't know how her son was conceived. We don't know any past relationship. What was that like? Was it trauma? Was it fun? Was it anything? And to me, if I didn't know any better, and I'm gonna say allegedly to protect us, I would think she had a baby by a married man.
that wouldn't surprise me.
I would, because the way she is not going to any detail about that relationship, how her son got here, is the father present? Why is this such the motive? Like, what about you? That's all I'm saying. So that's why I said Ty and Brittany were the least compatible because I feel like she's not, and maybe because they haven't had much, on screen time as the other couples, maybe that could be what it is. But at the same
Yeah,
time, even still, I feel like there's something there that's making them the least compatible because I feel like she wants a man for the wrong reasons.
she does. I think the man, she's one of them women who's just looking for a daddy for her kid, in my opinion,
And
from
that's
how she
wrong.
spoke in the beginning. Yeah.
And
And
that's
that's
wrong.
problematic.
Yeah.
You want them to love you enough to then choose to accept your child, but
Yeah.
you can't replace a
A father.
father. You just
Yeah, you can't do
You
that.
can't.
That's why I
You
said they were the
try.
least compatible because I feel like her reasoning, at least from what we're seeing of her so far, is wrong for why she wants Ty to be in her life.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Now we gonna come back to Brittany and Ty again because there was foolery at the end with them. But the
Yes.
most dramatic couple went to Kiki and Brandon. We're not even gonna talk about that. Who would be surprised? This girl got a secret man, cheated on him the whole time she was in a relationship, is a drunk, apparently is grieving, and in addition to that, has some health issues that I know she probably got to address that she's not telling us about. So I'm gonna just move on. The couple with the most secrets, Tati and Clay, were voted. No one is surprised as to why, but Tatiana was thrown off. And I'm like, girl, that should have been your red flag to start going and talking to people and being
Because
like,
clearly
why do
they
you
know
think that
something
I
you
was
don't.
voted that?
Yeah, because
Huh?
clearly they don't. I said, because clearly everybody else knows something you don't.
That's what that showed. And she was just like, what?
Yeah, like the fact
What?
that I would have just sat there and just be like, oh, okay. Ladies, let's have a secret meeting. So
Right.
someone
Because
has
where's
some,
girl code?
yeah, because somebody has something to tell me, right? Why am I being voted for the most secrets when we have Charlie and Jared over there who came into this house with a whole bunch of secrets? Charlie had 4 of them. So,
Right.
yeah,
What do I need to
what
know?
do I need to know? Exactly.
Hot mess. I don't understand how she missed that. I wish Tatiana, because you could tell that her gut is like ringing a bell in her ear, like,
Yes,
wake up, bitch. Come on,
yes.
bitch.
And
You
she's not
eating all this
following it
vegan
at
food for a
all.
clear mind, bitch. Like, come on, Tati, figure it
I
out.
feel like
And
she doesn't. Here's the thing. I feel like because she understands that she realistically does not have anything to lose in this situation, but someone she's been talking to for what was there 4 months in their relationship? I don't remember. 8 months. So I think that's not a lot of time invested virtually. If you kind of catch my drift, so maybe she feels like the things that could be holding her back are not that big of a deal, but this is a big deal, honey. I wish you would.
she should
And
have looked at that man.
yeah.
Did you see his face? He looked nervous. He looked nervous. He looked like he was about to go through a checkpoint and he had an open bottle in the car. That's how he looked. And the fact that she didn't even think to look at him was just weird. I don't know, Tati. We'll see. She's acting oblivious, but she has to know. Um, so later on in the episode, Ty apologizes for talking to Brittany crazy. And I didn't like the apology. I felt like it was half-assed because he acted as if Brittany was asking him to serve her. And that he's missing the point. She's not getting the attention she wants. And I've noticed it watching the show. Like he is always cooking, always barbecuing. This man act like he's somebody uncle, and he me and James age. That man is only 38.
Hmm.
I said acting and looking. He even got the great uncle haircut,
Right.
looking like Bernie Mac and Steve Harvey. So I'm looking at this guy and I'm like, one, you're aging terribly, Ty. I'm sorry. And two, you are kind of away from her. So he says that he wants to work together through things, um, but he will only admit the fault of yelling at her from across the pool, but he still stood in what he was yelling about. I don't like when people apologize like that. Like, I'm sorry, but I was still right about this. But like, no, if you're sorry, just be sorry. There's no but. There's no you made me. No, just be sorry. So I looked at this and I'm like, I could see again this supported James feeling like this is the least compatible couple because even the way they argue
Hmm.
was just they were both dismissive of each other. And usually when stuff like that happens, it's because people just are not compatible. So
They're
I
not
do agree with you.
compatible, and then dismissing each other is because they feel like they don't have anything to lose. And to me, if this is somebody you're trying to build a future with, and you're trying to, one, on her side, find a father for her child, and that's another thing that really makes me look at her the side of because you shouldn't want just anybody to be a father to your child if your child already has a father. You should
Amen.
want a man to be compatible with you and you trust him enough to bring him around your child. You trust and honor the fact that he would be a good influence on your child. To me, I feel like she's doing this wrong. And I think that that's the core issue here, aside from them not knowing how to really handle conflict when there is conflict. Because you're going to have conflict as couples. That's just how life works, because you're two different people.
That's
But the
right.
problem that I have with them in particular as a couple is, one, I feel like he lives in the toxicity he was raised in and just adapted that into his adult life, when you're supposed to understand what that is and try to remove yourself from it. Especially because you've been all over the world, you worked on cruise lines and stuff. So to me, I kind of feel like you've seen enough life to understand that there is a different value than how you were brought up in. And you've had the opportunities to understand that that's not what you need to be about. So that's why I'm like, to me, they're not going to work for a lot of different reasons. It's more than just this reason. There's a lot of different issues. They need self-development with each other first before they get into
James just said, for those who may not speak as astutely as he does, that both of these niggas is immature. Both of them got ulterior motives, and the shit ain't gonna work because both of these niggas is toxic. You made it sound so nice.
Well, no, because I'm trying to be professional. We're trying to be professional for it. It really is. Like, it is.
I'm cracking up. No, I love when people get red for filtered like an astute way, because I was always taught the mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Yes.
And your mind and your words are stronger than any fist you could throw. And that you just read them for filth.
No, because I don't like when people play in my face. I don't like when couples play in my face. I don't like when I can clearly see what it is, and they continuously every single week tell me that it's not that. I know exactly what I'm looking at. I know exactly what I'm looking at with each couple, not just them two. Every couple, I know what I'm looking at. It's just a matter of whether or not they want to face it. Yeah, exactly. It's just whether or not they want to face themselves. That's the only problem.
Own is irritating me. However, this episode, listen, we'll lightly go over the end. So it ends with Britt and Ty, and her mom comes. Her mama look good, and Ty's brother comes, and again, this is just going to support James's point, which I agree with. This couple's not going to work. Ty told his brother a side of the story that made Ty look so just innocent and like the woman was tripping. He tells his brother he has to live up to a different level to please her. I was like, Negro, that's part of a relationship. What do you mean? Of course.
Yes.
Crazy. So then Ty, he paints this thing to his brother as if, Britt just randomly flipped out. Now, Britt's mom, she ends up meeting Ty, and she immediately asked him like about the attention and the issues, which I liked how she did it, and that's another red flag in a relationship, because I just met your mama and now she's involved in helping us solve a problem. No, because your parents aren't always going to be there. Other people are not always going to be around. So and you shouldn't need them.
It's the unconscious bias, because that's her child.
Right. Just messy.
Yeah, it's messy. And then also, what a lot of people don't understand is that the parent does not always see the adults in their child a lot of the time, and don't realize that their child could be the huge part of the problem. So when they give their advice, or they try to help you through whatever issues you're experiencing, remember, they're only seeing it from one point of view. Unless you have one of those parents that, is not afraid to say when their child is full of shit and ain't shit. Unless you got one of those parents, then I don't really think that it's really fair to really involve your parents. Mainly because they're never going to see the other's point of view unless they are not afraid to say, hey, my child ain't shit. I've been in them situations, so I know that, someone said, hey, my child ain't shit. I don't know what you doing, but you might.
It irks my soul. It irks my soul, this couple. It's annoying. Ty tells Britt's mama that he would have gotten her a drink if she had given him time, but he's still missing the point of, you chose to prioritize other people over your spouse. I would have brought my spouse a drink and then brought the food out, because if I'm already cooking it, the people can wait a little bit longer. It's not a big deal. But I personally, after watching this, felt like Ty and Britt should break up. I don't think this couple is going to make it, just because the only reason they solved their issue was because of her mom. His brother barely even contributed.
Yep.
His brother, you could tell his brother is the brother that Ty could be like, I punched the bitch in the face. She made me mad. And that brother would be like, well, you did what you had to do, man. Like, that's what his brother gave. Her mama had to do the work. So seeing Ty and his brother's dynamic, I don't feel like he's held accountable in spaces, but I also still feel like I said last week on my recap, James, you weren't there, but I had said I feel like Ty is just taking full advantage of being on TV. If I cook for everybody, if I serve everybody, if I become the fatherly figure in the house, then you're on camera more. So I also feel like he's just a camera whore. But that was the episode. James, you have any final points to add?
Um, I haven't. I just want to address OWN if I can. I don't really, because to me, I feel like half of these fools is acting and the others are just, case studies that need to be examined. But I just feel like for me, on if y'all are going to have a concept like this, just like Somebody's Son, and I told you I don't like the reason why I'm struggling with that show is because I don't like that concept. I feel like parents should not be involved whatsoever.
Not at all.
So, and I feel that if the parents are going to be involved, there needs to be limitations. The same way with this show, I feel like they are not at any point ready to meet somebody's parent in this situation because they need to get to know themselves and each other's as couples now that they're physically meeting each other. So own and I know y'all take people's ideas and y'all don't give people they just do, but I want my just do because I'm trying to help y'all. This show needs to be constructed the same way. What's the show where is it Married at First Sight where they make them live together like in an apartment building or something?
Yeah.
They need that construct for this show. Instead of them all living in a house together, they need to be in separate quarters together as a couple to see how compatible, because this is where they're heading, right? To one day be with each other and potentially live together. Let's go ahead and put that in that circumstance now, because that's going to reveal everything of a person when you start living with them.
Especially if they're couples that are supposed to be trying to figure it out. That could be an opportunity that would make actual couples want to come, because then you get the opportunity to live with them and know if it's going to work before you up and move your shit across country.
Yep. So why don't you partner up with Extended Stay or Ramada Inn, someplace that has a 1-bedroom with a kitchen, and then go ahead and have them live with each other and have them meet in common spaces later. They need to live with each other. They need to live, and they need privacy alone. Because everybody is too involved in everybody else's business. They're too involved. They need to be separate but equal, is what I'm going to say. And then maybe we may have a better show. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. There's a lot of work to be done. But y'all, we'll be back again to cover Never Ever Mets next Sunday for the next episode. We don't have Love and Hip Hop on this channel anymore. Both of them are gone. Basketball Wives is back Monday, so we will be covering that on Tuesday. We have The Valley that we'll be covering on Wednesday. James has RHOA, Somebody's Son. I believe he's doing Bravo Love Hotel. I will not be there, but I'll be in the comments. So yeah, we have a few shows coming. We have some shows that are going, but we appreciate each person that watches us, subscribes, likes the video, or just, is here to support. And we will be doing The Valley next because I am 2 episodes behind. I'm 2 weeks behind. So we just gonna knock that shit out the park today so that Tuesday we'll be caught up. But thank you, James, and I'll see y'all later.
See you later. Bye-bye.